So the weather might look nice, but it's still cold, hence the jacket's on the north face. So yeah, sorry about the sun. Part 2. What's it all been about? Secrets that's gone to the grave, or are they going to come back out? The thing is, if I would have known about it, how would I have dealt with it at that time compared to now? Would it have been different? Would be. I think I feel like I've been ripped off. I haven't had the chance to meet the other side, the other family. The ring was my biological dad's ring, and I always remember that ring. For some reason, that ring has always stuck in my head. More of a distinctive thing, that ring, double buckle ring, and I had one myself, and I lost it. And I only bought it because it reminded me of somebody. I think the thing that hurts the most is basically my mum's took that secret to the grave, and I would rather it have come from her than to find out now myself. I'd rather have just had that conversation with her, spoke to her about it, ask her questions. It's like questions that haven't been answered, that I need to be answered. And was it just me? When our David left, I mean, when he was in the police, and he was a copper, and then our Colin, he just left. He was married young, and we used to get on with our Colin. And now I look back, because nobody ever sees our Colin. He keeps himself to himself. And I look back now and I think the best thing he ever did. Was there more to it? I didn't know. I don't honestly know what it was all about. It was just played on my mind a lot, and then something's come up now and it's played on my mind even more. But the ring was my dad's, my real dad's. People are probably going to say, now, they haven't seen the rest of the videos, but obviously they're going to say, how do you know it's your dad? This person. Well, it's been confirmed. It's been confirmed. So let's carry on and let's talk a little bit more about it. Families always have the disputes, don't they? Arguments, fallouts. There was never a dull moment in my mum's. There was always one brother fighting with another brother, or there was an argument over something. But that is just families, isn't it? Families do that. I mean, when Danielle died 2 years ago, on the 4th of January in 2 years ago, would be the day that we buried her. But there was a friend who reached out to us, Paul, and he helped me. I don't think he realised how much he did help me. And he used to live at my mum's. My mum took him in to help him. And Paul did a lot for my mum as well, to be honest. He gave her the company. It was something to live for my mum. I mean, 69 years of age and she's died. I was only young really when I think about it. Not having any parents. So the survival kicked in, doesn't it? It's natural. And you're reaching out for help and support, but you don't want to reach out for help and support because you feel weak. But then it affects your mental health because you're not reaching out, because you do need that help and you do need that support. But you feel weak because you're asking for that support. You try and go around and ask in a way what you don't want to appear that you're asking. There's one thing I've never told anybody, but there's been times in my life, not many, a couple of times, where I've been that low, I've never wondered which way to stop it, end it, and I've been so close, and I've kept that to myself, thinking I'm weak because I even thought about it. But like, I think part of it I wanted closure of who was my dad. And if somebody tells you, I mean, you think to yourself now, if somebody told you that your dad's not your dad or your mum's not your mum, first thing you want to do is look out for them, innit, and try and find out who it was. So what did I do? I've got a lot of stories in my life. I'm going to start sharing them. But this is just filling in a few gaps of the main one in my life, why I was thinking and wondering who I was. If I would have knew sooner, I could have felt something different. I don't know, because it's one of them things that you don't. I still didn't believe it until the 31st of December, New Year's Eve. You go and find out that it's a fact. It wasn't hearsays, but my mum went to a grave with secrets, which I think we had the right to know. I did have the right to know. And I feel hurt because of that. Yeah, I've always had that inkling who it was, but you don't believe it, because when you ask my mum who's my dad, your dad's your dad. So obviously he was, wasn't he? She never lied to me, but she kept it from me. And when she was like, when you used to be in my mum's, and my mum would be on phone to her sisters, or her brother on phone, mostly one of her sisters, and she used to basically have about 2 or 3 hour conversations on the phone with me auntie. I wonder if that conversation ever come up with my mum, whose I was. And was it just me? Who else knew about it? Who else knew that I wasn't my dad's? It's like now I keep thinking, who else really knew in my uncles and my aunties? And I know my brothers have always said something that who we was, but you don't believe it. Honest to God, you don't believe it. So what I did, I reached out. I couldn't reach it. I tried the council. I put the name in with the council, looking for this name. Births and deaths, marriages, even looked in the Star and the Reporter, which was in St. Helens papers, which deaths, births and deaths, and there was nothing. I couldn't get the exact date because I didn't know when he died, so we didn't know who it was. But I had a name, and I put this name in search on St Helens registry office, births and deaths, and I didn't know the exact date it was, but I went to roughly, I picked about 3 or 4 years in between, deaths from, to, and nothing come up. A few names come up, the same name, but it wasn't that person. So what do you do next? Years went past, and obviously I got on with my life, started doing other things. And time flies, doesn't it? You get to that time and you think, where's it all gone to? Then years go. Next thing, you're looking 40 years down the line. There's still no answers. And something just popped up on Facebook. And it was basically long lost families. So I thought, I'll give this a go. So I put on basically who I was looking for, where the area he lived, the street or the road he lived on, and mentioned the pipes on the fireplace, the gold ring, the double buckle ring, and within 4 hours I get a message. I think that's my father. And that's what I got. So I'm thinking Dad, their dad. And it wasn't, it was the grandfather. So it was the granddaughter who got in touch with me, and then the grandson, he got in touch with me, and I phoned the granddaughter up. Obviously I'm not going to mention any names yet, because I'm trying to keep it a little bit discreet until I've spoken proper to all the family. And certain things I was telling them, they agreed. The house, what was inside the house, what was in the garden, the shed, the pipes on the fireplace, the mantelpiece, the dog, what he had. He even mentioned that, saying basically the dog, he used to say, paid for. Before he'd put a bowl of, a cup of tea on the floor in a bowl, and the dog wasn't allowed to drink it until he said paid for. And yeah, still wasn't convinced it was my dad. So, to be honest, that's all I can tell you up to now, until I've had another conversation with someone. And then once I've had that conversation with somebody, I find out a little bit more. But the gold ring was a big, significant part of my life. I just wish that I know that somebody must have known for definite, for a fact, this person was my dad. And there's people out there, and you're probably in the same predicament, thinking, what do I do? Because you've got, like, you watch the programme Long Lost Families with Davina McCollin. I mean, I did it a few months ago where I met my granddaughter. Not seen her for years, and that was hard. But when it's you, myself, and you think to yourself, am I overstepping the boundary? Am I going to upset people? Am I going to make it difficult time for them. So then you've got that on your mind, as well as thinking, you're thinking about them, you're thinking about yourself, but then something comes over you, you think you've just got to do it, and that's what I did. I'm glad I did. So glad I did. Because the truth's out now.